Hello and welcome to Little Blue Star. I'm Jane Allen and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thanks for joining me today. This little beauty is like a real soft, calming sort of colour, and it's using the Seize the Day bundle. And what you get in there, you get this stamp set and you get the coordinating dies. And what I've used in this card is the big die that you get in here, this one, and it makes a gorgeous like frame for your cards. So what I've done with this one is I've already cut it out, but you just run that through your embossing and cutting machine, and I've actually done that here. So my basic card, as you know, I use this shape a lot, and I don't know what that is there. I use this shape a lot, so what I've actually done is actually with my base card is cut the die out of my base card. Obviously you've cut quite a lot of material away there, so it's very flimsy. So what I'll do now is I'll glue those in there, so that's your inner card, and then that one on there. Okay, so it's going to be like that to give it more strength, and obviously it will make that gorgeous peekaboo scene with this gorgeous border around the outside. So what I've done is got my usual base card. So our usual normal piece of card is 8 1/4 that way, and then I've scored it at 4 1/8, so I get down the middle, and then cut it again at 5 3/4, so you end up with 2 cards out of one. If I open that up, you get 2 cards out of one sheet of cardstock. So again, our cardstock is 8 1/4 inches, so I score it at 4 1/8, which is obviously halfway, and then turn around and cut at 5 3/4, and then again at 5 3/4, and you're left with a tiny little bit at the edge. So you can get 2 base cards out of one sheet of cardstock. Hope that makes sense. That's my usual way of doing it. Then for my layers, obviously I've got 2 layers here, so each time, depending on the width of your border, you go in like 1/8 of an inch for a tiny border, or 1/4 of an inch. So that's what I've done with this one here. So as I said, I score at 4 1/8, so if I bend that now and fold it where the score mark line is, let me just make sure that's in place, and then burnish it. Whoops, my bone folder's dropped on the floor. So if I fold that over, where it's so flimsy, where I've cut a lot of the card out, I want to get it in the right place. So there we go. That's right. So as I was saying, the card is, when I do it, I score it at 4 1/8. So when you come in with your layers, you come in like a 1/4 of an inch in. So that is 4 1/8. So obviously this would be 3 7/8 by 5 1/2. So there are my 2. So you need 2 of those. Okay, one for the inside, which you can glue on straight away, because we're not doing anything to that at the moment. So that can just go on in with your Tombow. So just line that up where you want it, with that gorgeous border around the outside. And then that gives you that 1/8 of an inch border around the outside. I hope that makes sense. So then this part here is your flimsy bit where you've cut your most of your card away from that bit there. So this is going to stick just behind. So what you want to do is go where you're gonna glue it, keeping it in the right place. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment so I know it's in that right place. So what I'm going to do is grab Night of Navy Night of Navy ink. I've got my sentiment on my block, so tap that, and you just want, make sure it's the right way up. You just want the top, the ink to get on the top. You don't want a load of ink, so don't press hard, and then you just pop that where you want it. There we go, and then you get that nice clean image there. So now we know that's in the middle where we want it. And then what I did with this one to make those soft, gorgeous edges, well, not edges, but around the dye here, the coral and the seaweed and everything. Obviously you could leave it like that and just glue that down, that's fine, but I'm going to use the blending brushes. So take that bit out, and then what we're going to do is use the blending brushes. Now I really like the blending brushes, so I've grabbed Balmy Blue, and I'll just show you. I've got a few blending brushes, but you can just rinse them out, but obviously I'm keeping this for my same colour, so I just swoosh it on my Balmy Blue, and because it's quite a light colour, when you start you don't get that sort of, well, I'll call it a big blobby mess. So with the Balmy Blue being a light colour, you don't get that. So I'm just going to build that up around my sentiment there. Hopefully I'm not moving the desk too much while I'm doing that. I'll try not to. And then you just build up the colour. Now that's Balmy Blue, so it's quite a light colour. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite a light colour, especially in this light. So if you want to build it up, well, you can keep building and building, but obviously you'll use quite a lot of ink, keep going back and forth. What you can do is use a darker colour and take the excess off. So if I shut that Balmy Blue up, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to grab Mossy Meadow, because obviously it's like a seascape, so it's sort of greeny bluey one. I'm going to keep that blue and get my Mossy Meadow blending brush. And then what you want to do is grab a piece of scrappy card or paper, just something that you don't need, and then ink up your blending brush. And then what you'll notice is it's really, really dark. And then if I were to go straight onto my card like that and start, can you see that blobby mess, I call it? So what you want to do is get the excess off. So swirl it a few times, and then you know you've got the excess off, and then you can come in and you don't get that blobby mess, as I call it. And the reason I went for Mossy Meadow is because when you take that excess off, I'm just going to spin my paper around because I find it easier to move my card rather than move the angle of my arm. Swoosh that all around. What was I saying? Yeah, the reason I use Mossy Meadow, not the soft seafoam, is that precise thing. Soft seafoam would take a lot of ink, keep blending and blending and blending, whereas this one, just take that excess off, and then I've got a nice greeny tone to it. And then what I'll do is come in with a bit of Night of Navy, I think, and because as I was saying, that blending of the Balmy Blue, grab some Night of Navy, get that excess off, because I don't want it too dark, I just want it, there we go. Lost my train of thought. As yeah, that's what I was saying, the Balmy Blue, obviously if you want that colour you just keep blending and blending, but if you want a darker colour to start with, just take that excess off and you get that nice colour built up. And obviously you can go as dark as you want, you can keep blending and blending, you could use more than one colour. You could use lots of colours and then pop it behind and see how you feel about that. You can then go back over if you think, oh, I need a bit more. Grab it back out. Go over it a bit more if you think you need some more. And as I say, I really enjoy using these blending brushes. I think they make a gorgeous effect, as long as you take that excess off, because you really don't want that blobby mess. But then you get that gorgeous soft effect. I just love it. I think that's so cute. And as I say, when you're happy with your blending, which I am there, you can stick it together. So let me get this ink out of the way. Grab that out of the way. And then we can glue it. So when I glue it, obviously I want it where I put it, sort of in the middle there, like so. So what I want to do is glue right around the edge. So I'm going to pick my bit up, but as you'll notice, some of it is quite near the edge, so I don't want to go too far inwards. So I'm going to glue around the edge of my card here, roughly. So that has got the glue on, but then also with this part, I'll go round sort of the inner part, hoping that makes sense to you. But these little bits here, because obviously you want those to stick down. So go through if you want your seaweed and your coral. Tiny bits of glue, you don't need much. And as I say, just go around the edges there. Because gluing it on this bit, you know the glue isn't going to come through. If you glued on this one, obviously you'd get some of it maybe peeking through, which you don't want. But obviously you want the edge on this one. So grab that edge. I'm going to flip it over and then line it up with that eighth of an inch border, sorry. There we go. And then pop that round. Obviously you could do your blending brushes first, then stick it, and then obviously ink your sentiment so you get it right in the middle. But I think we did a good job there. So there we go. Just to finish off, I was going to show you these faux glass shapes. So they're called faux sea glass shapes, and they come in a pack like that. And as you can see there, I've just added a couple there. So I just think it lends itself to those colours on this card. So I'm just going to grab those, take my pit, and I'm just going to put the glue away. Get my pick and my pokey tool. Careful, because they've got the glue on the they've got adhesive on them, so this is how I do it. But grab some of those. Oops. Sticked on my fingers. There we go. It just adds a little something to it. They're quite cute, those faux sea glass shapes. And there we have it. Quite a soft card, and as I say, you can keep blending and you get these gorgeous tones. Hope you like that today. And as always, thanks for joining me. If you want to subscribe, it's free to do so, and it really does help me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.